Practice and mastery are two different ideas that, when combined and fully understood, can have a profound effect on your ability to reach your goals and positively change how you show up in the world. William James, philosopher and the grandfather of psychology, believed that everyone is capable of high performance, self-actualization, self-overcoming, and so much more than we know. He wrote, "The human individual thus lives, usually far within his limits. He possesses powers of various sorts which he habitually fails to use. He energizes below his maximum and he behaves below his optimum in an elementary faculty, in coordination, in power of inhibition and control. In every conceivable way, his life is contracted." He goes on to say that most of us operate with an embedded habit of inferiority to our full self. Understanding the power of practice and the idea of mastery separately allows you to effectively combine them to create practices that will inevitably lead to you experiencing higher levels of performance, self-actualization, and mastering or self-authoring your life. In this module, we'll look at key areas that are important to a person who chooses to take full responsibility for creating optimum behavior and practices that lead to a fulfilled and healthy life. Those ideas include understanding responsibility, learning how to effectively create productive practices, and finally, the attitude of a true master. So let's start with responsibility. Responsibility is an incredible concept to understand. The original meaning stems from your ability to respond, and in the mid-1600s, the word took on an updated meaning of being accountable. Both connotations, when enacted in your life, can have profound effects on your results. The original meaning is linked to your level of mental complexity and self-awareness, and how you use your mental and physical tools to approach what life throws at you, while the latter meaning hones in on whether you are claiming power over your life and results, or giving your power away to people and circumstances. People who haven't taken responsibility for their life often find themselves in a mental prison. Mental anguish can take away a person's ability to self-author their life and may lead to burnout and other physical health problems. Responsibility allows you to live a life by design. Without it, you may feel confined to an impulsive or conformist level of mental complexity. True masters and self-authors are those who have accepted responsibility for every aspect of their life. They don't dodge responsibility by blaming someone else or circumstances. They embrace a growth mindset and find solutions to their problems. When faced with a challenging situation, they are usually aware they have had a part to play in the circumstances, and they look for the lesson and make the necessary changes in their thoughts and actions. They continually take responsibility for whatever happens in their life every step of the way. A person who refuses to take responsibility for their life ends up rejecting their uniqueness. They rarely unlock their potential, and they turn their power over to other people and circumstances. By doing this, they lose control of their future and revert to hoping something good will happen. Self-awareness allows you to accept responsibility for creating your life and your results. It also plays an integral role in building greater confidence in your ability to achieve your goals and develop the skills and practices to carry out your plans. Your challenge is to take full responsibility for the results you are creating in this program. To create supportive practices, habits, and rituals to bring your goal to life, and eventually to build basic self-reliance so you are not a burden on society and have the ability to help others reach their goals. Your life is made up of a sequence of unconscious and automatic routines performed each day. These automatic behaviors are triggered in response to your external environment. Your subconscious mind is constantly scanning your environment for information, then runs the stored behavioral program or emotional reaction. This can explain why your usual routine feels awkward in a new or different environment. If you don't become aware of your subconscious routines and take responsibility to adjust the practices that no longer serve you, you won't master your life, and your past experiences and the outside world will be mastering you. The process of mastery requires you to progressively layer improvements on top of one another, each habit building upon the last until a new level of performance has been reached and a higher range of skills have become automatic. Most of us expect progress to be linear. We hope it will come quickly. In reality, the results of our efforts are often delayed. A master knows that it can take months or years before they realize the true value of the work they have done. If you are not aware of this delayed gratification, it can lead to disappointment and discouragement, especially if you've put in weeks, months, or even years of effort without experiencing visible results. A master knows that their work is never wasted. It is simply being stored. They know that the true value of their efforts will be revealed later. In essence, they are doing something today that their future self will thank them for. When it comes to goals and developing the skills required to get there, a master looks at the task at hand, and instead of trying to get it done quickly, they would reflect on how they could complete the task in the most effective way. When completing the task, instead of doing it unconsciously, rushing or forcing themselves to do it, they notice all of the moves. They take care to do each element of a task well. A master understands that forming habits is slow and tedious at first. However, when an effective way of doing something becomes automatic, their more considered approach ends up being both efficient, effective, and the process becomes autotelic. There are effective ways of forming habits and creating practices that lead to improved routines that eventually lead to the realization of your goal. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, suggests 4 techniques you could adopt to effectively form the habits and practices that will lead you to your goal. His first suggestion is to make the new practice obvious. You can do this by designing your environment to make the cues of good practices obvious and visible. For instance, if you're wanting to drink more water, you may start carrying a refillable water bottle with you. His second suggestion is to make your new habit attractive. He recommends pairing what you want to do with something you need to do. If you want to create a self-improvement practice and have a 30-minute commute every day, you could pair the commute to listening to audiobooks or training programs. He also suggests that you hang out where your desired behavior is normal. His third suggestion is to make the new practice easy. His top recommendation here is to master the decisive moment. These are the moments when you are faced with a choice. Productive and healthy choices made at decisive moments are like a fork in the road, and these choices stack up throughout the day and can ultimately lead to a very different outcome. Another way to make it easy on yourself in the beginning is to decrease the number of steps between you and your new practice, and invest in technology that helps lock in future behavior. His fourth suggestion is to make your new practice satisfying. Give yourself an immediate positive reward when you complete your habit. This could be as simple as keeping track of your habits and not breaking a streak. If you happen to forget to do a new practice, make sure you get back on track immediately. Your typical day consists of 95% automatic behaviors that create your routines. These are the wanted and unwanted behaviors you have repeated in the past. One of the most effective ways to create a productive habit is to map out your daily routines, then find the point where one habit ends and the next one begins, and using one or all of James Clear's 4 steps, you can slot a new habit into the existing sequence. Let's say Anne wants to create a new habit of meditating for 15 minutes every morning. We'll start by mapping out all the habits contained in her morning routine, from the time she wakes up to the time she has her morning coffee. Here is a map of Anne's morning routine. Notice how her routine is a sequence of unconscious and automatic tiny habits that start at 6:30 a.m. and are stitched together and triggered by her environment. In under an hour, Anne has 32 individual habits linked together to create part of her morning routine. Some are productive and some are obstructive habits. There will be more automatic habits that kick in after she drinks her coffee, all providing small, easy, and obvious windows of opportunity to slot in a new habit. By reflecting on her routine, Anne can see where one habit starts and another ends, making it easy to determine where she can easily add her new practice. Anne decides to add meditation immediately after she leaves the bathroom. Instead of walking past her study, she will meditate in her study. Anne knows that she needs to make the new habit obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. And in doing so, she will also be appealing to her analytical and subconscious minds and setting her environment up for success. Here's what Anne does. She starts by creating a declaration of purpose with an easy implementation intention. Anne's intention is every morning after leaving the bathroom, I will do 5-minute meditation in the study. She makes the new practice satisfying by affirming the benefits of morning meditation as being calm throughout the day and more present with colleagues. And she adopts the identity of a meditator by getting emotionally involved with the benefits. She makes her study attractive and sets it up so that it's obvious that she'll be meditating there. She strategically places cushions on the floor and uses technology to create a meditation playlist on her device. She has also decided to make her initial practice easy by starting with a 5-minute meditation. This is both easy and attractive. Anne's aim is to set her intention and make a start, enabling her brain to see the new behavior as important and eventually make meditation an automatic part of her morning routine. She uses the law of repetition and starts small, then over time slowly increases the length of time she meditates. Applying the law of repetition not only creates a new routine for Anne, it is also moving her to the growth side of the fixed and growth mindset continuum and creating an empowering new identity as a meditator. When you embark on something that is outside of your current identity, you may initially feel like an imposter or lack confidence. By repeatedly declaring that you are capable of achieving your improvement goal, you can begin to transform outdated subconscious beliefs about your capabilities. Repetition is the best way to build new neural pathways, learn how to be flow-prone, and move memories into long-term storage and create new positive habits. You are designed to learn through practice, and practice takes time. Bruce Lee knew this when he said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." We all want great results in our work, our relationships, and life. A person who is mastering their life understands the most important single factor that guarantees great results day in and out is to maintain a healthy, positive attitude. Attitude is the combination of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It is your thoughts and feelings when combined and expressed in your action. In essence, it's the vibration you are in, the invisible message you send out to the world. Your vibe will either have a negative or positive effect on others, and according to a study in the British Medical Journal, your attitude is highly contagious. Your attitude becomes your unique vibrational signature. A master knows that when they have a cheerful, expectant attitude, they are showing everyone with whom they meet that they expect the best in their dealings. They know that their attitude is something they are responsible for creating. They establish daily practices that determine their attitude for the day. They understand that the people in their life will reflect back to them the attitude they choose in any given moment. Master of self-improvement Brian Tracy said, "You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude towards what happens to you, and in that you will be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you." It is your attitude towards life that determines life's attitude towards you. As soon as you begin to change your thoughts, feelings, and actions, your results will change. A great attitude leads to great results, and a poor or negative attitude usually leads to unwanted and often frustrating results. Mastery requires a great attitude. People with great attitudes will naturally do what needs to be done to reach their goals, and they tend to gravitate to each other and to the top of their chosen field of endeavour. They don't wait until they reach their goal to have a great attitude. They reach their goal and are great in their chosen endeavour largely because of their great attitude. Practicing mastery is more than creating habits. A person who practices mastery has an understanding of how their thoughts, feelings, and behaviours ultimately lead to their results. They know how to create productive habits, and they possess a mastery mindset of simply being better today than they were yesterday. They understand that mastery is obtained through study and honing a skill, and ongoing learning becomes a way of approaching life. Your challenge as you move through life and towards your goal is to practice self-care by mastering your thoughts, paying attention to your feelings, and creating daily practices that allow you to show up ready to deal with what life throws at you. As you master yourself, you create the ability to care for others and your community. A person who is mastering their life is self-aware and has developed a high level of mental complexity. They form the habit of reflecting on the results and taking repetitive and inspired action to adjust what no longer serves them. They understand that mastery is not glamorous. It's hard at the start when there is learning and unlearning to do. They push through the boredom by embracing the plateaus of skill acquisition, and they treat mastery as a lifelong pursuit that never ends. A person with a mastery mindset understands that skill acquisition isn't about the results they achieve or the recognition. Instead, they see mastery as a self-designed path they follow that ensures their life is rich with ongoing learning, passionate and patient daily practice, pushing their self-imposed limits and creating opportunities to discover their potential. A person with a mastery mindset doesn't care how long it takes to get where they are going. Their only competition is themselves. Their understanding of the human condition gives them good reason not to compare their progress with those on a similar path. They find joy in creating behaviours that will serve them for the rest of their life, and they have learned to shake off the burden of seeing each step as a necessary and tedious discipline. Instead, they see every step as an optional dance move in life's conga line. Moves that spark inspiration, giving them access to flow, building confidence, and a near effortless realization of their goals.